It's okay to be a human now.
All right, what's up, everybody? My name is Trey Alessio. I am here with my cousin Andy Alessio. I wanted to shout out that the former OG host of the OG Back-to-Back Hip Hop podcast. We're gonna talk some hip hop, so I gotta loop that in there. My man had a following back in the day, so I gotta show love. Um, I will give it up to Andy. We are going to talk about the connection in celebration of the 1 year anniversary, and I'm very excited to loop in somebody who is well versed in hip hop. And let's just break it down, and I will give it over to you, Andy. So thank you for doing this.
Dude, of course, man. Thanks for having me. It's always good to hop back on here. So let's just dive into it right away. So I think, a lot stood out for me on this. But in terms of, I love just going into the overarching themes right away. So there was a quote that stuck out, and I think it can be taken some different ways.
Yeah.
It's really, really early in the movie. If you could go back and choose a different path, what is the one thing you would be?
Right.
So would you, I think of that quote, and then I think of at the end, the really central theme of it's okay to be human now. If you had to choose one of those as the overall theme of the movie, what would it be and why?
Yeah, no. So there are a lot of, themes and things going on. I think if you could go back and choose a different path, what's the one thing you would be is more of um a story structure thing that I did to kind of make it feel like this multiversey type thing. That's why when it cuts to the different backgrounds and I utilize green screen, I wanted it to feel kind of like multiversey. And I have the line of okay on this branch of the sacred timeline. Like if you watch Loki, the TV show, I'm a big fan of that show. They talk about the sacred timeline, so I wanted to play with kind of multiversey things, but the theme itself, I would say, is a character going from connected and simultaneously feeling disconnected with this social media and this thing that controls so many of us to realizing the harm it does and becoming disconnected and living one's life in real life and being happy with that. I think that is the main overarching theme. I would say the going back and choosing a different path is more of like a story device that I use.
So the idea of feeling connected, disconnected, and things, is that more of a personal layer to you and your story, or how do you
Yeah.
figure out, hey, this is a topic that I want to dive deep on,
Yeah.
and then add so many layers to it the way you did?
Yeah, I mean, you are the perfect person to talk to about this because I don't know if you recall, but back in the early days of the just the very first seed of this, percolating in my head, I think I talked to you about like an idea that I had this social media album idea. I didn't know how to make it like truly a project, and I was starting to get into filmmaking, but I was still right, like I had all these ideas, but I wanted to bring it to fruition. And sorry, I'm babbling. Tell me the question again.
No, yeah. So you introduced this to me a while back. How did that originate? And would you say that that's really almost like
Oh,
an
the
origin
personal
story of
connection.
you?
That's right,
Yep,
right,
yep.
right. Sorry. Yeah, so there are so many personal connections to me in this. Obviously, it's kind of a meta thing because I wanted it to be this character. It's not necessarily about Trey Alessio, and I intentionally never say my name in the film. So, yes, while I 100% relate to many of things that the character goes through, and there are kind of these intersections that the character does have in my life, like the losing 60 pounds, the being single, like all this shit. It is 100% me, but I didn't want it to be Trey Alessio. I wanted it to be the influencer and the troll. And So yeah, it's 100%. I'd made this in a time when I was single, when I was on the dating apps, when I was going through the motions of social media and just feeling the dark side of that. So 100% it's personal to me. I hope though, my hope is that it after seeing this and listening to it, it's a universal feeling. Is my hope.
So when you created this, if you were to answer, if you could go back and choose a different path, would it really be rapping?
Okay, so I'm glad you brought this one up. So the whole how this became to be was it was a practice of me going back because I think I wanted to also tackle cancel culture, right? As a
Yep.
theme. And
Yep, and I
so
want to touch on that later.
yeah, absolutely. So I think it was the process of me going back on my social media and just looking at stupid shit that I posted back in the day and like very cringeworthy and I'm like, okay, I need to clean this up. Like I gotta delete some things, like things like that. So it was that process that kind of sparked the idea. And you say in doing that, I found that in high school, I think maybe not truly, but in the back of my head, I think I kind of wanted to be a rapper. Like my friends and I made these stupid rap videos, and I love rap music, just period. I still do to this day. I did back then. Um, so I think a huge portion of that, like I think in my brain wanted to be a rapper. So it was this meta journey of me cleaning up my social media, trying to, not get canceled for something stupid that I didn't really mean to be harmful, but, um, and also simultaneously seeing how much like I was about this rap shit back in high school, you know what I mean? So like that's kind of where I got the whole if you go back in time and choose a different path, what's the path you would choose? And then the character chooses rap and chooses the influencer life. And that's kind of it's kind of as if it were me and I did choose that path. This is kind of the fictitious journey that I foresaw. So,
So before we really dive into the plot aspect, I want to ask more about the music and how it
yeah.
really leads the story.
Yeah.
So first and foremost, just as a creator standpoint, did you make the plot first or just make the music?
Man. For sure I'd say it was a combo of both. I would say that the story 100% came first. I think I had a general idea. This is like a very unique project in like I wrote a kind of treatment like script. Like there was definitely a script, but it was very much description and like the music video, like an idea sort of thing of that. So the story, in terms of like plot and character arc and things like that, 100% came first. Um, then the process was then I sat down and I basically taught myself how to make a beat. I took a master class. I say it in one of the songs that I took a master class from Timbaland because I did like master class and I watched Timbaland's master class to make a beat. I got on it was all on GarageBand. I made beats. Now, granted, they're probably not the greatest beats in the world, but there was something fun and very hard about literally nothing was there and I had to work for it and I made the beat. Then I wrote the lyrics and then I pieced it together with the other songs to make kind of the story and I looped in the skits and like so it was a long process but 100% the story and the overarching themes though that came first.
So you created the beats first and then wrote to the beat.
Correct. And I
How
don't
long
know.
did that
I'm
whole
not a true musician, so I don't know if that's normal, but that's how I did it.
I love asking that question just because it's always enthralling to me of how the process actually starts.
Yeah.
So from the musical aspect itself, there's what, 14 songs on here?
I believe so. I on the and here's the thing. The album itself is out on streaming, and I think that in
Yeah.
itself is a different experience. It's similar but different. But
Yeah.
I have the little intro on there, where at the end the troll says Con connect, you know. So that is
Yep.
technically a song. We have the LimeWire skit as a song. So technically there are 19 songs on the album. If you want, I didn't put the little spoken word skit with the troll when he's kind of becoming more popular. I didn't put that on the album, so that you could maybe consider a song, but 16 is the answer.
Which is equivalent to really what an album would look like these days, which I like.
Yeah.
So from start to finish of the music aspect, how long did it take?
Oh man. Um, I'm trying to remember when I we had that conversation. I remember vividly it was in Mall of America, and I was
Yep.
just like throwing things out and getting your opinion on it. It wasn't, I hadn't even started on like the story part. Um, I would say that that was probably around the time I was still like in the process of making that vowel at the end of your name. So probably a good 2.5 years, maybe.
Yeah, I think I just think about it in my head. I think early 2022.
Yeah, like yeah, it's insane. Yeah. So it was a very long process. I mean, there more than any other project, I had a lot of imposter syndrome, right? Like with and every creative has imposter syndrome, but there was an added layer to this with the music. It's like I think there was also an aspect of I knew this is what I wanted to do and how to execute it, but I am thinking of ball on a budget sort of production sort of thing. So it's like there were many times I thought like, do I just reach out to different producers? Do I, find people who make and put beats on YouTube and see if I can use that? Like I went back and forth so many times, and in the process of doing it myself and making these beats, it's like, will anybody listen to this? Will anybody care about this? Will this be any good, And there was just so many times it's like I felt like giving up, but I just made it a point I have to keep going. I have to see this through, and yeah.
So two more questions off that then, just
Yeah.
because you inspired to bring them up.
Yeah.
So first and foremost, if you had to have reached out to some producers, who would they be and why?
Man, are we talking like dream, or are we talking like greatest of all time type, just like no budget in, because I
I
could
like
definitely
no
I could
budget content.
have be budget conscious. Um, sorry, say that again.
Yeah, the no budget
No
concept.
budget content. Okay. I mean, I think if I had to choose a producer to just work with if I became a rapper, I think it'd be No ID. I think he's a cheat code. I love I love what he does on all of his albums. Um, I think the producer I would pick would also influence the sound. I wanted this to be very computery and kind of techy and kind of like trippy, like weird futuristic type vibe. Like it's not really classic hip hop. It's kind of like satire hip hop, if you will. But and I think that would kind of influence it. But like I love like you know Mustard and Alchemist and Dr. Dre. Like if I have everything at my disposal, I'm gonna reach out to any and everyone. But um, yeah, I don't know. Like the connection produced by Dr. Dre would be a whole lot different than the connection as what it is now. You know what I mean?
Just a little bit. But I mean, doing the own production and then I mean creating this on your own, do you think that the overall product and actually completing it, do you think it eliminated the imposter syndrome mentality? Because on the outside looking in, it has to.
So you're saying like once I finally got it done, is it like imposter syndrome gone? Like I did this shit, right?
Exactly.
Not necessarily. But here's the thing. Here's the thing. Like yes, in the fact that I can say I did this shit and it all came from me and I'm proud of that and I 100% am. But I can't lie and say there aren't times when, I look at the views on YouTube and it's like I felt like this is deep and like it impactful. Like, why aren't, thousands of people watching this? And then, so I think about that, and then I get a little imposter syndrome. But then, that's the devil on my shoulder. The angel on my shoulder is saying like, who cares about those views? Like, this is powerful, and this means something to you. And truthfully, like I was listening to the album the other day, which is kind of weird, but I sometimes listen to my own album. But really, I'm proud of that because like I made something for me. Like this made high school Trey proud. Like the fact I put out a rap album, a visual album, and looped in my filmmaking stuff. Like I'm very proud of that. And so when I think about like the views, like I tried my hardest to be like, I don't give a shit about that. But there are times when it's like I wish more people would watch this and potentially appreciate it. Like it's not for everyone 100%, but um it is important to me. So I'm glad we're celebrating it a year after.
Of course, and I think it's ironic that you bring up the views aspect, just because the influencer himself in the story
Right.
ends up not caring about his reputation at all, even tries to change his content, right? Like he goes into cooking, isn't happy with the results, and ends up switching back to what he was doing.
Yeah, and I think it's I watched it before we did this podcast again, and I find it interesting that the character decides to try to go into content creation, which in itself he's trying to get away from. Something upon rewatching struck me that like even he's trying to get away and he can't. He's trapped in this. That I pulled that away this time around, which I found interesting. Um, yeah.
So with I want to go back to the origins for a second, or background of the work, but like literally just like the first couple scenes of the movie. How and why did you pick? So you already mentioned like the futuristic spiral to begin the movie.
Yeah.
Seeing that really, I don't know if resonated is the right word, because I don't know if I resonated with some of those costumes and outfits. How did you pick those?
Say it again. Sorry.
Yeah. Okay. I think there was the where you were in the news. The world. How in the world did you?
I mean, so I will. So you're asking. You were kind of cutting out a little. Are you asking about the costumes and how I came up with them?
Yeah. Asking
Yeah.
how in the world did you decide to be those costumes
Yeah,
and why?
and I'll touch on the nude one. Like that's fine. A huge inspiration from this, if not the one, like 99% inspiration from this, is Bo Burnham with Inside. I think it's absolutely brilliant. I think anybody and everybody needs to go watch it. It um, it encapsulates what we went through in 2020 in the perfect way. It's funny, it's brilliant, it's catchy, and overall it's tragic. And I watched that and was so inspired that that's how I wanted to do this, right? Um so with that being said, there are points in that film where he's nude, but I kind of wanted to do that one for shock and awe value, just because that's I mean it's funny and crazy, but two because I feel like there is a story element of it and a thematic element to it that once he's thrust into this multiverse and down this path, he is stripped away of all and it's just him going into this in this path. That's kind of the vibe that I wanted to give with being naked into this. I mean, yes, it's stupid and funny, but I mean, if you peel back the layers, that would be my answer.
Touch on the role of the troll in this,
Yeah.
because at least to me, again on the outside looking in, looks like the influencer, obviously as he gets deeper and deeper into social media, the troll becomes that more of a role and more of an impact.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's my first question: is this So with the influencer, is the troll just the alter ego? Is it supposed to represent the same person? Dive deeper into that.
Yeah. I think part of me wants to leave it ambiguous and like you interpret it how you want, but how I interpret it watching it, rewatching the film is it is an alter ego. It is one person and it is kind of the voice inside of your head. It's that troll saying fuck you and talking the bad things to you of social media. In the online therapy song, I kind of do a little Easter egg where he says something like, voices in my head talking shit, but you probably know what he say as the troll is going back and forth with him. So like that's kind of how I interpret it, that they are one person and the influencer is the outside, but the troll is kind of his inner alter ego that is interjecting these little, tidbits throughout the album is kind of the intention. But again, I would love to hear different interpretations, I guess.
So are you okay with spoiler alerts?
Yeah, let's spoil it all. It's a year. It's been a year, so let's spoil it all and talk about it.
So let's say how did it make you feel then when the influencer, beats up and kind of erases the troll?
Yeah, so I specifically wanted to do that because it's the influencer trying to get out of that world and snuffing out the dark, demons and, inner voices that are telling him, no, you can't do it. And, you're shit. You're all the bad voices. I think that is a turning point in the story that the influencer kills off the troll and he's moving forward basically. So yeah, I definitely wanted to do that, and we went back and forth of like how can we depict this in a logistical, practical way that still gets the point across. But yeah, I made it a point to include that on the album part of the streaming too when you listen to that. So you hear um on the intro, you hear the troll say, connect. And then by the end of into the metaverse on the song itself on the streaming, you hear, the influencer, my voice saying disconnect, right? So it goes from the troll saying connect to the influencer saying disconnect, and I'm not connected. I'm gonna live my life in real life now.
So I thought one of the more bizarre scenes
Yeah.
of the movie was, I forget what song. It was early. It was basically the introduction of like when you actually see the troll and you're on your desk, troll's typing,
Yeah.
and then just when the troll kind of stares at the camera.
Yeah.
Very, very interesting scene.
I'm glad you caught that. Yeah, no, I just wanted it. I mean, there's no real deep meaning to that specific thing. I kind of wanted the troll to look into your soul as you're watching this, and like part of me is maybe depicting that there is a troll in all of us, and I think there's an added layer to the cancel culture that we all think is, we all deal with nowadays. Like we all say stupid shit we regret a little bit, and we're all trolling to some degree of that. And so, me looking into, straight into the camera, into your eyes, that is kind of the depiction of that, I guess.
So with the troll 2, going back into cancel culture for a second. So do you think it's the inner troll in us and the self-doubt, right?
Yeah.
That causes someone to pretty much devalue themselves, right? And feel lonely, that leads to someone feeling the need to act out for cancel culture to happen.
Yeah, I think that's a great analyzation of it. I mean, there are so many different scenarios that you can, come up with. The self-deprecation, which then leads to, seeing everyone else on Instagram having beautiful, great lives, like, and then feeling the need to behind your computer say whatever you need to empower yourself. I think that 100% is a real thing and leads to this troll thing. So yeah, I think that is pretty spot on.
And what I like though about this film, probably the most, and I feel like it doesn't. I feel like there's some good takeaways for our generation, but I'm gonna really outdate myself here from the age standpoint. But it feels like, right, like as we get older, we can see more of the impacts of social media on the younger generations.
Yeah.
I feel like you touch on some really good themes and takeaways of like what we notice on the outside looking in. Like, and you already just alluded to it, social media really only focuses on the highs.
Mhm.
Whatever it takes, basically, to be seen at whatever cost it takes. So, do you think an indirect reason for wanting to make this project was not necessarily as a warning, but of hey, this is what social media can lead to?
Oh, 100%. I think Into the Metaverse, the video and song itself is a warning. I think it becomes a warning to society, for sure. Social media can be a good thing. Me and you, our relationship grew because of social media.
Yeah.
I was down and out, and you reached out to me on Twitter. Like, there are great things about social media. There is good content, but I have also seen the dark side of social media, and I just think it's become so entrenched into our society now that sometimes it's hard to recognize that. Like, we as a generation came up with that. So I think sometimes we can look inward and maybe see that, but maybe the older generation can't. You know what I mean? I don't know. I just I yeah, it's 100% a warning, you know.
Touch on the three levels of the internet. I found that to be really hard hitting. And I think, again, right, like when you touch on those levels, it seems like as you get into, I think the last level's GOAT, like
Yeah, yeah.
that's where it gets worse and worse.
Yeah, so that actually stemmed from it was a tweet that I saw randomly. I don't think I quoted it directly, but I kind of worked it into there that three levels of the internet are goated, mid, and trash. And I just think that that is such a simple-minded view of life in general. Is like, there are many, many layers to everything. And so to label one thing, this is goated, this is mid, and this fucking is trash, like there's so many layers to any and everything, any piece of art, any human being with feelings, but on social media, it's so flattened that it has become those layers, right? And people who live all of their life and just they shine on social media, they are a part of that flattened thing, and they resort to their mindset putting them into these categories: goat, admitted, trash. I mean, ultimately, yes, that is a layered line that the troll says in the song. um but I meant for it to just kind of be like a joke. But that's the not to toot my own horn here and say like this is brilliant, but like I think that is what I appreciate about this whole thing is like there are layers. It's comedic, but it is deep, like it is real, and people, I hope, can feel it.
Let's go quick fire real quick.
Yeah.
Favorite beat to make on the
Yeah.
project. Okay. Favorite, I don't want to say lyric, favorite overall song to write.
Yeah.
Okay. And then favorite scene to record.
Okay, cool. Favorite beat is easy. The only fans I have. I don't know. I think that beat is fire. The like, yeah, I love making that beat. My favorite song to write, I would say, are two. Streaming Wars, just because I got to throw in all of my, movies and TV references, and I thought that was fun. Um, the another one is Into the Metaverse. I think that's probably my favorite song. I'll go a step further. You said like favorite verse. The favorite verse that I wrote was that second verse on Into the Metaverse. where it's talking about the seven sins and how they relate to apps. I don't know. I was like I felt like I was a vessel and God was talking through me on that one. I love that, and I hope people appreciate that because I think there is a real thing about like we are moving closer and closer to living on our couch and just everything being delivered to us and through apps, and like we're living more and more through social media and online. And so I was very proud of that verse. And then favorite scene, um I was pretty proud. I mean, I was getting my kind of it is different because this is not a traditional film, right? So some of the things were kind of written as kind of stand-up skits, if you will. So I kind of got to flex my like stand-up writing chops, if you will. So I was proud of the one where I'm talking about the Daily Loud version of like what will be in 3000. That I was proud of. I personally thought it was hilarious, and then I also thought the spoiler alert skit was pretty funny. Also, I know you said one, but the genius, the satire, the satirical genius skit, I thought that was funny too.
So it's funny that you brought up the genius scene because that was the scene that I was going to bring up. I think it was pretty obvious, right? Just with the yellow background, and then
Yeah,
the rapping, and then talking about the
right,
lyrics. I mean, I
right.
still watch those videos all the time. So what was it like? I mean, you obviously mentioned it was one of your favorite scenes. Why is that?
Yeah, so truthfully, I love Genius and like what they do, and I love like my favorite way to listen to an album is to read the lyrics as I'm listening. Um, but I don't love that video series, I'm not gonna lie. So part of it was making fun of them. It was kind of satire. I mean, that's truly there's not really a whole lot of deep stuff about that. But I mean, I think it did fit into the story of he's so big-headed and so like out of touch that he's breaking down, why you shouldn't be vulnerable, right? So I thought it played well into the story of the whole thing. So
Well, and just again, like pausing the interview to take a phone call pretty
right.
much sums up the
Right.
ego-ness as well.
Right.
So there's a caveman outfit, there's the Moses outfit, there's the troll outfit. Obviously, a lot of costumes throughout
Yeah, yeah.
the movie. Favorite one and why?
Yeah, so I personally the caveman we just had to rent. I thought there was just something funny about, a caveman on his phone and the kind of juxtaposition of that and the contradictory. There's not really a whole lot more to that. The probably the most intricate one that we had to put together was when I think it was the algorithm where I say like shoot myself in the face just to get the clicks, and you see like a bloodied kind of face. That one took a lot of effort. My mom helped me, dab the red marker and made it look like blood. And yeah, that was a good one. Yeah, I mean, a lot of those are just like thrown together. There wasn't a whole lot of intention with all of them. Some of them, yes, 100%, but a lot of it was more just being stupid and funny when it came to the costumes.
I love it, man. Well, it was very. When I saw the outfits, I wasn't necessarily surprised knowing you from a creative sense. And one of the first things I thought of was, man, he must have really enjoyed picking out these outfits.
It was fun for sure.
So let's go. Let's go. Really, final thoughts, man. So
Yeah.
at the end of the day, looking back a year later, right? What is still the take home message for you from? I mean, really, what you've learned from this and what you want viewers to get out of it.
Yeah, I mean, really, I think it comes down to the overarching theme of while I wrote this and while I was kind of partially making it, I think it is a feeling of we are so connected through social media, yet how can I feel so disconnected with everyone, sort of thing, right? And that feeling of, becoming disconnected is okay, and living your life off of social media is okay. And this norm of social media is just innately a thing now, right? I think that is kind of the big takeaway that I hope people will relate to and appreciate. Um, from a creative standpoint, I am just proud of how this came together. If I had all the money in the world, it might have been a little different. Like I would have done different things with, some of the music video parts and, whatever, but we were balling on a budget. We made it happen. We took our time. I used all of my friends and my family. Like it was a low budget, micro budget thing, and we got it done. And I want to say to creatives out there, number one, don't let people put you in a box. Like I'm out here fucking rapping. I'm out here making music videos. I'm writing skits and intertwining them. And it's a, I hope people view it as a film because there is an arc and there is a story. But I think there's different elements of like the music. And I just think don't let people put you in a box, number one. And then number two, just get your shit done. Get it done. Like you can do it. You don't have to wait on an investor. You don't have to wait on people giving you approval. Go out and make what you want to make. That's a big thing that I want people to take away from a creative standpoint. Um, but at the end of the day, I just want people to enjoy this. Like it's a fun project. It's meant to just be goofy and satirical and stupid. But while they listen, me personally hopes that they take away the deeper, things, and that's kind of what I got from Inside by Bo Burnham. I just hope they get kind of that similar feeling of like, this is so stupid and funny, but yet it's so deep and powerful. And I'm not saying like I need to change your life sort of thing, but like I do hope that you can reflect on some of the themes portrayed in the connection, and I hope we can do that. Can I interview you just for like 2 minutes and ask you what your favorite song and what your favorite, thing about it is, if you don't mind?
Yeah, absolutely. So I would say, okay, so favorite song would be, I think the catchiest was Age of Information.
Let's go. I would
Uh,
agree with that. I would agree with
yeah,
that.
I think that was the catchiest. I think obviously the Streaming Wars was the You're in the Camouflage, right?
Yep, yep.
Yeah, I would say from a rap standpoint, I think that was obviously the most like battle rap
Okay,
song, which I
okay.
which I liked. And then I would say the Algorithm song was very catchy too. I don't know if it was just like all the dances
Sure.
during it and like
Yeah.
the green and like when you mentioned like uh, the lyric of punching yourself and then having the band-aid around you, that very stood out. I would say those were my favorite three, but like I liked that obviously like you could tell you took the time to make each song like different from itself from a production standpoint
Right.
and from a rap standpoint, so like it's easy to appreciate the musical aspect.
Awesome. I appreciate. And then one last question for you, if you don't mind.
Yeah, of course.
So I just am curious from an outside perspective, like, yes, yes, we talked about this process, but from an outsider perspective, what is your biggest takeaway from it, if you don't mind me asking? I'm just
Yeah, no,
curious.
it's a very good question. I would say I think it's very easy, right, from someone to go from or feel the need to go from influence to influencer and just all the I mean, I'm gonna take it from a negative lens, like all the repercussions that can come from that.
Right, right.
Yeah.
For
And
sure.
then like on top of that, right? Like the repercussions of what can be the result of that and not necessarily caring, as a side result. So I think that's just a really good awareness aspect, in my opinion.
And the thing about not caring is like there's no accountability. And I think that is another whole thing, like layer to this whole thing. It's like cancel culture. I am all for people who say stupid and hateful things to, I'm all for not being canceled. You can't cancel a human life, right? But you can hold them accountable, right? And I think social media is so hard because none of these people, they don't get held accountable, right? So I think there's a layer to that. But yeah, so I
agree with that. Of course, man. No, I think it was good to go back and watch it months later from when I originally did.
Right.
And just, be reintroduced to it.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for taking the time, Andy. Again, my name is Trey Alessio, and thank you for celebrating 1 year of the connection. And we'll be back for more stories to tell soon, so stay tuned. All right. Peace out. Real or fake, cause I subscribe to a Reddit thread by mistake. Knowledge is power, ignorance is bliss. Said I'm the dumbest smart kid, like that's a diss. Textbooks say this, but Reddit say that. I got a Q, but no A, they comment rip in the chat. But I'm alive and well, gullible online, I'm an easy sell. Eat up every theory, what's for dessert, Siri? She says she don't understand, so I hop back on Reddit, let the trolls take command. Tupac died in 96, makes sense, he had quite a lot of conflicts. Biggie and Puff, before the other stuff, all the East Coast rappers he was calling their bluff. Pac and Suge Knight watched the Mike Tyson fight, then they got into an altercation later that night. Classic pic in the car, then moments later they shot the rising rap star. Closer look at the pic, no keys in ignition. OMG, is it a trick? Could it be he ain't dead? I saw a TMZ photo of the side of his head. I think Pac was in the club, real discreet about it. He didn't want no pub. Then Coachella did the hologram, but it didn't feel right, think it was a scam. Then he spoke a mortal man, maybe this whole time Dot was part of the plan. They arrested Keefe D in 2023, said the case was put to rest, but do you agree? I think Pac is in Cuba, smoking a cigar. Reddit laid out the evidence, it didn't seem bizarre. Down the rabbit hole I go, all the Reddit theories, the more you know, you know. I don't know what's real or fake, cause I subscribe to a Reddit thread by mistake. Knowledge is power, ignorance is bliss. Said I'm the dumbest smart kid, like that's a diss. Textbooks say this, but Reddit say that. I got a Q, but no A, they comment rip in the chat. But I'm alive and well, gullible online, I'm an easy sell. Eat up every theory, what's for dessert, Siri? She says she don't understand, so I hop back on Reddit, let the trolls take command. Donald Trump got shot, wait, maybe not. Agent Orange rallies in Pennsylvania, gunshots rang out, Don sustained a wound to the ear, but lucky for us, he could still fucking hear. Secret Service jumped, then he threw up a fist, but something smelled fishy, I'm getting to the twist. The blam blam sounded like a firework. Could it be 45 went and hired a merc? Was it me or did the crowd look not so surprised? Bet the campaign team thought up a plan and devised. Witness said he saw a dude climbing up the wall. Where the Secret Service at? Did they intentionally stall? I think Trump faked the shit to go up in the polls, then Biden backed out and Kamala rose. Trump is really Mr. Garrison from South Park, a fell caricature. That's my final remark. Down the rabbit hole I go, all the Reddit theories, the more you know, you know.
I don't know what's real or fake, cause I subscribe to a Reddit thread by mistake. Knowledge is power, ignorance is bliss. Said I'm the dumbest smart kid, like that's a diss. Textbooks say this, but Reddit say that. I got a Q, but no A, they comment rip in the chat. But I'm alive and well, gullible online, I'm an easy sell. Eat up every theory, what's for dessert, Siri? She says she don't understand, so I hop back on Reddit, let the trolls take command. JFK and 9/11, celebrities gone, but did they go to heaven? Not cause they went to hell, I'm just saying life without fame could be an easy sell. The earth is flat, Bigfoot v Loch Ness, call it Monster Combat. The moon landing was fake, we living in a matrix and someone know your fate. Illuminati HQ at the Denver airport, aliens are real and kill human for sport. The Titanic didn't sink, 5G caused COVID-19 I think. It's all a simulation, every Marvel nerd with a TikTok think they got inside information. See the problem with theories, I believe everyone, I don't need to do research to have a little fun. But then I think about it and start to poke holes, the people talking shit are probably the trolls. Then I log out of Reddit, remind myself I got a brain and I deserve some credit.